Hello and welcome back to Bluebird Lane Creations. My name is Tiffany and it's time to get creative. So if you did not notice, I did not have a video yesterday on Monday like I would normally have. I have decided to move that video to Tuesday. And although I'm still going to be showing some of my estate sale finds or happy mail I receive, I want to start using some of those items that we've seen in these videos. So I may be doing some of both. We're going to do a balancing act here and see how it works out, because I know that as crafters we want to see something get made. I mean, it's good to see how we build our stash, but let's follow through. So I'm going to start with I did receive one piece of happy mail. It's actually, we call it a wall of inspiration item. I'm in a group called Junk Journal Junkies, etc. on Facebook. And there is a activity within that where you do a wall of inspiration item. You send out something that you have made to other people in the group, just randomly, that are the ones that are signed up for this activity, and then you also get items from other people, and you start building a wall, or whatever, however you display these items in your craft room, and they are to inspire you to come up with different ideas and see something different than what maybe you're used to, or just give you inspiration. So this week I received this from Bonnie in the group. She has made me, this started its life, it looks like, as just a 3x5 note card. You can see she has likely coffee stained this. She did some stitching around, but first she added a tab. This is not like a recipe card. This is added afterwards. So she took the 3x5 note card, she added the tab, and she did some different sewing stitches. And then on the front, what she did is she took some torn vellum across the bottom to create two pockets, because her sewing went around that. So then let me remove the items and we'll look at these. On the front of the 3x5 note card, it looks like she maybe put down a bingo sticker on half, and then over top of that, this is likely a sewing pattern. You can see the line here, but it's sewing pattern paper, that kind of tan paper, and it's crinkled up. She probably put either a Mod Podge or a Gesso, and it's just turned out really cool. Now you could glue this down in your journal and create another pocket. You could just glue it on two sides and create kind of a tuck spot. You could put a hinge on it, and have it move. There's so many opportunities for something like this. So this is really cool inspiration. She also gifted me in each pocket 3 little goodies. So just some little ephemera goodies. And she kind of stacked those up in 3 different sizes. Odd numbers are something that draws the eye. So when you stack something up like that with 3s, it really pulls interest in. And she kind of did the same thing on the other side, which I love this blue. Just 3 little ephemera items that she included here on that side. And then she topped the whole thing off with a little butterfly, which, I mean, it could be out of the Tim Holtz collection. It's hard to tell. I don't know them all by heart, but definitely just a little butterfly addition. And I love how she left her strings, because it just, I don't know, there's something fun about when the strings are left there. It's messy and I don't know, it just gives something extra to it, the extra special. So I wanted to share that item before we get started, because I'm definitely going to be hanging that up as soon as we're done with this video. That's my to-do item. So what I have planned today, we're going to be doing a little multimedia. I am going to be making something, you could say it even was inspired by that item that we just showed you. It's going to be it's going to be in the same wheelhouse, we'll say. But I actually found some inspiration on Pinterest. I was just kind of scrolling through, and there was a junk mail item that was converted into something. And I have been wanting to use, my stepmom had sent me some magazines. I have 2 of these now that belonged to our friend Peter. He has since passed away, and his things were being distributed amongst friends and family, I'm sure. And this is from, I think it was like 1995. It's in the early 90s. And it's just heirloom roses, and it has just got the most gorgeous pictures in here. I mean, now the trouble is, I don't particularly like to have a glossy item in my journals. I'm not saying that you can't. It's just for me, in grabbing something to use, I likely would not grab for something shiny. So I took a page out. I cut mine out with an X-Acto knife because I know if I tried to tear this, I would rip it. You could cut it out with scissors, I'm sure. And I'm going to take this little painting sponge, for, I don't know what they're really called, and we're going to do a little gessoing on this project to start. So that's going to be our first, our first step here. Now I have used this gesso before, but I'm going to kind of take the extra off I keep that little paper piece on there. I should just put like a piece of Glad press and seal would work too. Now I'm gonna get a fair amount on here because this stuff dries pretty quick, and I want to go over a big surface. So I'm just gonna glob a little on there and get this going. This will probably be more than enough to cover the whole thing. Now it's looking really white, so I just want you to bear with me here, because it's not going to be this white. I'm just going to shovel some of it down towards the bottom. I'm just doing a whole page, so it's going to look extra right now. And I just want to get some good coverage all the way down to the bottom. And I don't really want these brush strokes, and I'll show you what I'm going to do for mine to solve that. Bear with me here. It's just gonna, right now all I care about is getting it covered. Now gesso, this is gonna dry pretty quick. I'm still gonna leave it time to dry, but it's already allowing me to build layers on itself. It keeps moving off my thing here. I don't know why I try not to get it on myself, because it's bound to happen. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my brush and I'm gonna just texture this up a little bit. That helps for me. It gets rid of the brush strokes here, and gives it more of a textured, unintentional kind of look to it. So there might still be some brush strokes, but not as apparent, I guess. So I'm just going to do this all over. Now as this dries, the flowers will come through. I did a test, and I'll show you here in just a minute, as soon as I finish getting my texture down. I did a test, and my test actually went a little further, and I'm going to show you where I don't want to call it a mistake, but like a learning opportunity occurred for me I was going to try to use, after the gesso, I was going to try to use some crackle paste. And what I have learned is that, I don't know, maybe if I had layered the gesso up a little bit more, it would have been more successful, but it did not turn out, because on this glossy magazine page, the crackle paste just cracks, and it takes off. Here, let me show you. It takes off the gesso as well. I mean, if your journal pages are being flipped, see that? It's just breaking. It's just breaking apart. And then the gesso and the crackle paste comes up. I don't really care if these get in there, because they'll just add more texture or they'll fall off. So we'll just sprinkle some of those on. So this was not going to work for me. I was messing around with it. I will still end up using the image part of this. I can tear it out. I can use it in collage. But this part with the gesso, I won't, I'm sorry, this is gesso. This is how this is going to dry. It's going to have that vintage covering on it. And it stays on that magazine page pretty well. But the crackle paste for me did not work on the magazine page. So if anyone has any tips for using crackle paste on a magazine page, please leave me a comment, because I would like to know. I'm new, and I hope that the people following me that are new are realizing I'm just a regular person who's trying these things out for the first time as well. And these products are expensive, and it's intimidating to go in and possibly make mistakes or ruin your project. So, you know, I didn't want to ruin a picture of these roses that are out of my friend's book that, you know, these are special items. But so now that one is going to be a collage. Now this one turned out okay. This is my other one of the two that I tried, but I have not bent this at all. And I'm sure if I do that, this will start coming off. And this didn't even really give much of the crackle. So, I don't know if I have to do it thicker. I'll just have to play with it and find out more information about that. So those were just some examples that I had. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to set this aside to dry, and then I'm going to cut these out and we'll come back. I won't make you watch me cut a square around these, because that'll just be a time saver. So I'll set these aside. I'm going to come back and we're going to work through the rest of our project. Stand by. All right, I'm back. Thank you so much for your patience there. We now have dry gessoed magazine page. So these were those flowers we had earlier. I just cut them all out, so you didn't have to watch me cut a square. We'll shave a little time off. Now I'm going to create a pocket, and what I'm going to be using today, I have some packaging. Can we just appreciate the sound? The sound of paper, just, I don't know why I love it. This is just packaging. This was all crumpled up in a box to make sure that it didn't move around. There was so much of it, there's no way I could have just tossed it out, so I saved it. So I'm going to use some of that. I have a page that I created some time ago. This was a blueprint. You can barely see underneath what was there. It was just a blueprint of, I don't know, like a house or something. It was rolled up. I got it in an estate sale. So I trimmed off like paper size sheets of it, and I put it in a box and used my Tim Holtz Distress Spray stains. I'm trying to think what's on here. I think this is like mahogany. Maybe, let me think here. There's like a copper, that was one of the aluminum ones, and then I think pewter. I'll try to list in the description what was on this if you really want to know, or just ask me and then I'll for sure look it up. And then I just had some stamps and I just used that scripty stamp, and I just stamped it down in a few places. So that's all this is just layered color. This might even be some speckled egg. No, that's definitely that pewter. It's got a shine to it. Anyway, I don't know what colors I used, but I only have a few of them, so it won't be hard for me to decipher what it is if you love these exact colors. So we're going to use the brown paper. We're going to use my piece of paper, and I have this lace that was in my ribbon jar that I pulled out that I'm going to use to soften one of the edges. And we're going to be doing some sewing. So I may leave one of them to show like a faux stitching. I want to show you something that you can do. I will be using thread just to show you something, but no sewing involved. We'll do one with no sewing involved just to try it out. I haven't tried it off screen, so I have no idea how it's going to turn out, but we're going to pretend. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut some of this brown paper down to a workable size. So we will likely, you know, tear these or do something. Let's see. I've got an image in my mind of what I want this to look like. This I'm going to cut into a strip. So I'm going to push, I might be all over the place with this project. Just bear with me here. I'm going to bring in my big paper trimmer because I want a strip. And I think I'm probably going to just go, I don't know, maybe about 1.5 inches. That looks like a good size. And I'm just going to go ahead and do 2 of those, maybe 3. Let's just do 3 to be safe. I don't want to have to bring the trimmer back out. Probably could have got this done beforehand too, but I wanted to show you guys my lovely piece of paper. And these don't have to be precise. This type of work is not, I'm not giving you a tutorial. I'm giving you a process video. Okay, let's fold that edge out, and I am going to, let's see, just getting in my mind here, my vision. Let me see if I want it on. Where'd my little, I had one cut off that I was kind of looking at. Putting that down one side. Okay. So I think I'm going to tear here. I'll go ahead and ink this edge up. It doesn't really matter if all of these are torn or not. I'm just going to go ahead and distress the edge. Let me get my ink open. I was just using what was on there, but we need a little more. All right. Now I am going to go ahead and try it. Now I've never done this before, so I have no idea what this gesso is going to look like inked up. So we'll just start slow and do the edge here. And you know, as I'm looking at this, it's picking up this color. Like, I think I'm going to dab this off, but I'm going to do a swipe on this and just try to get it to pick up a little more of this kind of vintage color and get rid of that stark white of the gesso. What do you guys think? Tell me if you wouldn't have. Tell me if I'm doing it a different way. Just kidding. I want this stark white gone so it looks a little more vintage for what I'm going to use it for. If you have, you know, a light colored journal and that's what you would use it for, by all means. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, let me cover my ink back up and let's do a little look-see here. I am going to tear this paper down a little. I'm just going to go down all the way because we're likely going to use the piece right below where we're working. And bear with me here while I feel this out. And I'm going to go probably about, and of course that wasn't going to be straight. Okay. And I think I'm just going to start committing and getting some of this glued down. So just trying to decide. It's paper to paper. I think I'm just going to use my art glitter glue. This hasn't failed me yet, so just going to make sure it's nice and clean so we can get it flowing. Sometimes when you don't use it for a few days, it, oh, look, I just bent my pen. Oh no. Oh goodness. I have another one of these. I got a fancy one coming. It's coming from England. So soon I'll have another pen. I had a topper that I had bought through Etsy a while back, and it's the pen on that one has broken as well. I'm a little rough on these little pens. So, okay, I think I'm going to put this way so that the tear is at the bottom where my other tear is. Let me just get some glue around this. All right. Let's get that stuck down. Make sure all of our edges are good and stuck. If we missed an edge, just kind of go under the corner. This glue will dry clear, so I'm not too worried if some, you know, comes oozing out, but I do want all of my corners pretty stuck down. All right, it doesn't matter if it gets crinkled because that just adds to the look. Okay. All right. Oh, look, there's a pretty picture right on the back. Hopefully I think this art glitter glue will hold this magazine page pretty well, so. I mean, you could use glue stick because we are going to be sewing, but I'm not necessarily sewing on the picture, so we'll see. All right. I'm really liking how that image is looking. And I will need Fabri-Tac. Okay, I'm trying to think here. I think I'm going to put this down after I sew. I think I want to do my sewing first, and then we'll add this on after. So right now I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit here and get the rest of these done. So bear with me. Let's get all 6 of them to this point, and then I'll be right back. All right, I am back. So what I've been working on is gluing these down like this. So I just, I inked around the edges and glued this down, kind of distressed like we saw, and you know, got these a little bit dingier, less stark white. Now I did go ahead and off screen, I did the sewing because I was going to do that off screen anyway, and I figure instead of making you guys wait twice, I would get some of these done. So these two, I just kind of did a wonky steering job and sewed twice around the edge, twice around my picture on both of these. And on this one, I did twice around the edge, and then I stitched on my picture, adding some zigzag stitches as well. So I just stopped here, add the zigzag, and kept going. There was this gold in my machine, and so that's what I used, but there wasn't enough to do all 6, and I wanted to do some faux stitching with you guys anyway, so we're gonna work on that. What I have, let's see. So you can do this a couple different ways. We'll do one with a white gel pen, and I encourage you to have a piece of gel pens are notoriously difficult. I have found that I prefer the Uniball white gel pen. This is a jelly, let's see, 1.0 is this one. This is a thick one. Let me see if I have, there's the price, $4. This is I think all of mine are going to be the same size. I think I always get that really thick one. So I'm going to show you a black one. I'll show you a white one. We'll do a few things here. So let's just pick one, and I'm going to make sure that my jelly pin is rolling really good. See, that one's kind of, sometimes it doesn't like the material. Like if I were to get out, you know, this and try to write on here, it'll come back. Or maybe my pen's just throwing a fit over here. Okay, let's try the other one and see where that gets us. Let's see. Oh yeah, that one's flowing really good. So let's try that out. If it doesn't work, we'll try to do something else. But all I'm going to do is add some little stitch lines down my side here, down my edge. Just trying to keep them straight and consistent, but I'm not really worried about it being perfect. When it's in your book, it's not, no one's gonna stop and say, oh, this isn't real stitching. They're gonna appreciate your crafty eye for things. So I'm just gonna take this over. You could even add, you know, if you wanted to add some cross stitches and then keep it going. So let's see, let me try to take this from here. We'll go over, and I'm using this line of my paper, not the edge here, as my straight edge. You know, you could do some zigzag. And then some more straight. And then we'll take this down the other side here. Now this is just, and see, I'm doing long lines and short lines because I'm not consistent. And that's okay. If this is all you have and you want that look, you can achieve it. I mean, it's not, now obviously I did this other one in gold, so they're not going to look alike, but had I done it in white, I mean, you would definitely be able to tell. Now something else that I like to do, and bear with me here, I am going to step away for just a second. I apologize because I forgot to grab something. What you can do, and I'm going to grab two colors here. Do I not have black? Okay, I have dark brown. Close enough. Okay. What you can do, just take some thread, okay? We did white, so I'm just going to take a little snippet of white thread, and I'm going to create a tail, just deciding how long it to be. I want my edges to be 2 different lengths, and then all I'm going to do is glue this on the back with a little patch of paper. Okay, so let me look here. Say that's our upright picture, and I'm going to say that I want it to come out of this corner. I'm going to put that there. We'll use, where's my Fabri-Tac? We'll just use a little Fabri-Tac. Boy, my Fabri-Tac has little glue strings all over it. And I'm just gonna put a little Fabri-Tac down. Okay. Get my strings in it. Take a little patch of paper, because this is gonna be a pocket, so it's gonna be glued down again. So just glue that patch of paper there. And now, like, my stitching now has strings, okay? It's not perfect, but it's just another way to make it look a little more legit. And you could do it on every corner if you wanted to. That is just a real quick way to kind of give it something extra. Now, let me put my glue lid on, and let's do one in black. Now, I didn't have any black handy. I didn't remember to grab these. So let's see. Now my black gel pen, I used to use this when I made little creatures. This is a glossy one. So this is a glaze pen and not, you know, so this is going to have a shine to it. But for the sake of showing the technique, I'm just gonna make it work. So I used to use this for the eyes, like when I stamped a little bear or a creature or something, you know, this would be the eyes, because it has that glistening effect and it really makes it look like they're looking at you. So this, I'm going to try really hard to keep my stitches about the same length, which we all know by the end I'm going to have giant stitches. I'm just cleaning off the end of my, by the end I'm going to have these giant stitches that are twice as long as when I started, because that's how I roll. And hopefully I'm on screen here and you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm just gonna, at the end here, I'm gonna do a little zigzag. And I'm gonna turn. And then I'm gonna pick my stitch up and come across the bottom. This one I'm going to do a little bit of extra work on, and I appreciate you guys bearing with me here. I know this is not, it's probably a little boring, right? But I guess while I'm stitching, fake stitching here, we can have a little, what is it called in the UK? Let's have a little waffle. I guess in the UK they call chit-chat waffling. I learned that from Tanya at Tatty Treasures. She likes to have a Wednesday waffle, and that's like a little chit-chat. So anyway, I just did my 300 subscriber giveaway. The winner was Tammy, and she did get a hold of me, so we will be getting her out that gift package. Now, I ran it for 1 week, okay? It was a Saturday to a Sunday, or I'm sorry, a Sunday to a Sunday. And in 1 week, on the day that I did the drawing, we were already past, I was already past 600 or 550 or something. Right now, I think I'm at 650. It's just, the support that you guys have shown me is so moving and unbelievable. I'm not going to lie that I get a little emotional about it, because I hesitated for so long. You know, I've been watching crafty YouTubes for probably 7 or 10 years, and I was a card maker, and I just never thought I could figure out the technical side, and so I just never went for it, you know. And I'm going to do on my picture here too. And I had 2 people that super encouraged me to just do it. And one of them was Tanya at Tatty Treasures, and I will forever be grateful. And the other was the crafty pen pal that I was assigned in one of my Facebook groups, and her name is Angela. Her YouTube is Meet the Charades to Restore You, and I'll link them in the description. They're also linked on my other videos. These ladies encouraged me to get this going, quit wasting time. Just do it. And I wish that I had done it 5 years ago. You know, anyway, it's all meant to be. I believe in a higher power, and I believe that he has me exactly where he wants me, and at the time that he wants me to be there. And okay, I'm getting a little mushy here, so I'll stop. But I just want to thank you guys. I want to thank you for being on my journey. I want to thank you for being so supportive. All your comments, the participation is just unbelievable, and I'm just super grateful. So, okay, this takes a little time, not gonna lie. It takes a little bit of extra effort, but worth it. So let's just do a little 2 of these, okay? We're gonna do one for the back, and we're gonna do one that I'm gonna, let me think where I'm gonna do this one. This will be a tiny one. Okay, that one's gonna be tricky, but I'm gonna show you. Okay, so let's see, this is gonna be my top right. We'll do it on this side this time. So we're just going to get ourselves a little bit of Fabri-Tac up here in this corner. Get our lid back on there. Just want these uneven and just kind of twirl it up and put it in there, and then grab just a tiny piece of paper to put over that. The Fabri-Tac will hold it in place. Get them in the position you want. I like mine in the upper corner. And look, I mean, okay, it's not perfect. It doesn't, I mean, you could tell, but it's something extra. And when you're looking at it real quick, you're barely gonna know. And on this one, I think let's see if this corner, let me see if any of my corners are up. I'm just like, oh, there we go. Look at this corner right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little Fabri-Tac under the corner here. I'm just going to put my corner in and put it down over it. See, now I have thread there and there. Give that time to dry. Okay. And due to time, I just think I'm going to leave this last one. I'll get this done at some point. So now all I'm going to do next is I'm going to cut. I have this lace, but I don't want the binding on it. I did try tearing this one and it's not going to tear. So I'm just going to cut it along here just to give it more of a rough edge rather than a bound edge. And I'm just going to go a little way because I know I need a bit of this, so I can go a little further, and then we'll take off what we need here. Okay. So let's see, maybe we'll want, where do we want this one? Let's go, we can go across the bottom. All right, let's get some Fabri-Tac on here. Just on that very bottom. Oh, this is going to be stringy tonight, stringy Fabri-Tac. All right, let me see what side I want. I'm just going to push that into place. This lace is kind of wanting to pull back on itself, so it's going to take a minute. Okay, let's get some of these. And we'll do this one up the side there. I hope I ended my little waffling with some gratitude. I really appreciate everybody. Every single one watching right now. I appreciate you. Okay, I'm just kind of setting these aside. We'll bring them all back into view when we are done. Oh, this has got to be my favorite. I love how this photo turned out. I'm not gonna lie. Just loving it. Let's see, do I want it on the side or, yeah, I like this side. And it is covering up a bit of our stitching, but that's okay because, you know, it's just supposed to look, oh, I guess when I stretched that one out a bit, it went a little longer than we needed it, so we'll just trim it up there. That one's gonna look a little rougher, and I kind of like that. I'm gonna stretch the next one out a bit too. What about our white one here? Let's see. So we got our string hanging out. Lovely. Kind of like this along the bottom. It gives the, you know, if I send this to somebody, it kind of gives them the opportunity to add, you know, whatever embellishment that ties in with their design. Or if I'm pulling it for one of my own designs or journals, then I can add something to it that ties in. So there's that. We'll go ahead and put our lace on here. Maybe I won't even sew this one. Maybe it's just... Maybe this one was supposed to be naked. Do you ever have words that like your grandparents used that you know that it's probably not pronounced the way that we pronounce it now, but you want to pronounce it that way because you want to keep the legend alive? There was two things that, well, different grandmothers of mine pronounced that I just found hilarious, and I intend on pronouncing things like that as much as possible. One of them is naked instead of naked. I don't know. It makes me laugh. I'm immature. I'm forever 12 in here. I know I sound the epitome of mature on my channel, and you guys always tell me how soft and relaxing my voice is. But if I have the chance to pull a prank or do something funny, I am funny business all the time. Let's see. Now we have some stitching. Let's see, what do I want to do here? Where's the end of my lace? Oh, here's a piece. Do we just want to put like a partial piece? Wonder if we do like 2 bits. Let's just try it. What's the worst that can happen? Oh, I forgot to tell you my other word. So there's naked. And then I also love saying the word wrestling. My grandma Margie used to always say wrestling, and it makes me laugh. So I'm gonna say it. I mean, as long as me and my husband have been together, I've been saying wrestling just because I think it's funny. I know it's not the way that it's commonly pronounced, but I know that there's also people out there that still pronounce it that way, and I like it. It makes me laugh. I'm all about smiles and laughing. It's all about having a good time. So I just chose to put this lace in 2 different spots because I had that zigzag stitching there, and I just wanted to try and see. I mean, this is all plain, right? I mean, it's finding out different techniques, things that work for you, that you enjoy, and having a play with that. So these are wrapped up here, I'm gonna say. So we've got a bunch of different ones, different styles. We've got some with stitching, some without stitching, some with faux stitching. What do you guys think? What do you think of the faux stitching? Can it pass in a journal? Would you immediately know? Probably. Well, maybe just because this line's thicker than this, but this is really thin thread. What if you had this gold, what if you had black thread this thick and it was behind there, would you know? I don't know. Something to think about. So this is our little project, and these can be pockets. That was the intent anyway, so that these could be pockets. You could, if you had your journal, this is a small book, but if, let's say you had your journal, you could glue down on all 3 sides and have a tag or something to tuck in there. Gosh, this is my favorite picture that gessoed. I just love the way that this turned out. Some of these you could even do this way and have a pocket on this side, a little tuck. So that's what these are meant to be. And I'm gonna wrap that up, you guys. Thanks for bearing with me through the stopping and doing the gluing and sewing off screen. I'm sure that a lot of it could be repetitive, and I want to get the most content out to you guys. Tell me which one's your favorite. Do you like the gold? Do you like the faux stitching? And are you going to try it? Like, if you don't have a sewing machine, are you going to give this a go? Would you put some little strings on the corner just to make it something extra? I mean, I know people do faux stitching, but I've never seen anybody put the fake little strings on and, make it work. Fake it till you make it. That's my motto. All right, you guys. Thanks so much for staying on with me here. If you're not a subscriber, I would really love to have you. I try to interact with everybody, leaving comments and get to know you guys a little bit better, and I'll be having some giveaways here and there. I meant to have one for my 500, but since we hit 500 before I even pulled the 300, we're going to do one soon because it's going to be international, and I am just working the details out. Hopefully I will have something ready to go later this week. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you again soon.